So last week I tried to meditate and I didn't get very far. A lot of people would think, oh, you are in the wellness space, you should be able to. That's not true. I try, and it's not always successful. And I wish I was more successful more often, but that's just not the case. And I really want to share this today because it really got me thinking as to how hard we can be on ourselves. Like I listen to my clients say like, "Oh, I know I should meditate." And it's like, "No, you don't have to. Like if you want to, that's cool. If you want to keep trying, that's cool, right?" But like I've had people come in and they're so stressed about not being able to meditate well. They're like, "I'm bad at meditation." And it's like, you know, you're probably not. I think it's pretty normal that we're all bad at meditating at first. I think even monks would agree, at least in the very beginning, that it is very hard for them to get into that rhythm. And so I really wanted to bring this up because um, I was thinking about how our brain works, and our brain is meant to think, it's meant to process, right? It's meant to process lots of thoughts. I forgot how many thoughts they say we process in a day. Think of something like 10,000 or 20,000. It's a lot. And we're wired to constantly have thoughts in our mind. Actually, to have an empty mind, to have blank space is very, I, you know, I don't want to say unnatural, but it's very foreign, right? Like we probably haven't had that moment since we were very, very young. And, our brain is doing our mind is doing what it's supposed to do, which is process. And we're trying to invite a pause. And that is very, very different. It is like not how the brain functions, right? So we're asking it to do something a little less natural to it, maybe natural to what it's wired to do anyway. And so I want to say we don't have to feel so bad when we don't come out of what we deem as a successful meditation. It might just be that we need to pause and take a few deep breaths to reconnect with ourselves. And maybe that leads to a nice, quiet, relaxing meditation where we can invite space. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe that, you know, today's not the day, and that's okay. And I'm not saying this to be like, okay, then we can always excuse ourselves for not trying. If you want to try, if you want to keep going, then I absolutely encourage you to keep going because why not? We're doing something that's like the opposite of high rocks, but for our mind. Like, I don't want to overcomplicate it, but if you're, somebody who loves to high rocks, if you like to do competitive sports or whatnot, we are basically aiming for something to work out in the long run, to endure, and we're enduring to pause essentially, and that is kind of an interesting way to look at it. By the way, none of this is scripted. All of this is just coming up in my mind. And I think it's okay, right? Like it feels ironic to be like, why are we going through so much to get to blank space, right? To emptying the mind. Because you'll know. You'll definitely know. And you've probably been there. Maybe you've even just experienced that total, complete stillness for a second. And even like being there for a second or 3 seconds, like that's everything. That is what we aim to do. And it is amazing. And that shift is not anything we can describe. It is completely like weightless and still, and you just feel this huge sense of lightness and clarity. And if you had a question in mind, you might have a very clear answer. You might have more of a purpose. And that clarity can create motivation, can create so much rhythm ahead. And that's exciting. So the myth seems to be that meditation means emptying our mind, when in fact, that is not true. We are here to be, invite stillness in our mind, acknowledge that there are thoughts that come up. And we just notice that there are these thoughts, but we're going back to what we're focusing on, which is stillness, which is our breath, which is this current task of meditation. It's not that we are banishing the thoughts or ignoring them. We're just parking them aside and we'll go back to them afterwards. So if you feel like you've been bad at meditation or that you failed at meditation just because thoughts have come up, that's not true. It's completely normal, and it will take trial and error for us to arrive to get to a place where we might feel a little bit more still for even just a second or a few seconds, maybe a little longer each time. And that is everything. One more thing I really want to add is I remember when a lot of uncles and aunties used to say to me when I was young, "Oh, it's so nice to be young again. It's so nice to have less to think about and to feel more free." You might have heard this before. And it was probably true. It was less complicated. And here we are. If you want to think about it, meditation is an invitation to less complicated. We can be in a place of feeling like life is less complicated. And if we have the intention to slow down and want less complicated, I hope this resonates and let's keep trying.